Okay, so the other day I discovered that I had a broken batten, and it's the longest batten of the sail, which is goes along the boom side, and roughly it's probably 1/3 along the length from the cam back. So it's from this point here down to the cam is broken inside. So what I've done, I've taken the end of the batten tensioner out. I'll put pliers in there to grab this and pull this part of it out. So that's actually out now, and that's the end of the batten that's broken. So the other part is still in there. So what I've done, if you have a look at this side here, because it's inside here, the end of that batten is sleeved inside here, and this is really tight stitching to keep that nice and tight. So there's no way I could have pushed that part of it out. So somehow I have to get in there to push it out to a point where it gets to this soft sleeve area, but I've got to get it from here down to there. I've tried a few things, tried hammering it out, but because it's stitched so tight it won't fold. So what I've done, I've taken a drill and I've actually drilled the end of the batten sleeve. Then I've gotten the screwdriver and I've poked the screwdriver through there, and then I got my hammer and I started to hammer the end of that batten. So once I got that end of that batten as far down away from this real solid stitching, because there was no way I could move it, this has pushed it past. So now that that's out, I've got the end of the batten to a certain point, which is roughly about there. Now I have to keep sliding that further down. So I've taken the end of the batten tensioner because I needed something smooth, and now what I'm doing is I'm actually forcing the end of the batten through this sleeve. But now that I'm here, it's quite easy. I can push that, and the batten is sliding down nicely. But you've got to put a little bit of tension. So that's sliding through all the way, and I'm pushing that batten out. Okay, alright, so I've gotten to now to this part here. Now this part here won't allow me to keep pushing it all the way through, because it's a little bit stuck here now, and it's a bit hard to keep pushing that through really hard because of the rubber. So I had a meeting with my son to see how can we keep this sliding like it was here, nice and smooth here, because this rubber is stopping it. We need something to be on either side of this, and we discovered that using maybe a peg, if we put the peg on either side here and put a bit of pressure down and keep pushing it, it might work. So my son thought about it and he said, let's give it a go there. So here we go, we're going to try and give it a go. Let's see if it works. Let's see if there's enough pressure. Okay, it doesn't seem to be working. There's a bit too much flex in the plastic here. So we might swap it over to see if we can push it through, but no, it doesn't seem to be working. So let's throw that out the window. They're gone. So let's go back to this part again here, and let's put pressure on the batten and keep just pushing slowly and slowly until we get to that point. But as we were forcing that batten out through the sleeve, because the end is frayed on the other side, and we're pulling it out, pushing, and when it gets to this part here, what it is this sleeve goes inside this part, so there's like a little bit of a so what it, you know, this one comes through there, so there's a bit of a lip on the other side. So as this is pushed through, it catches that sleeve and it won't go past that sleeve. So I had a meeting with my son again, and he said, Dad, we have to make this opening a lot larger for this to slide through. So he said, let's use a marker which is a lot larger diameter to keep that sleeve open, so that can slide through this little section so it doesn't grab. So that's what we're doing now. So we've done that section. I forced it as far as I could, and we're right at the edge. We're right at the edge. So, and now that it's gone past this little seam, I can actually get my pliers in there and I can pull it out. So see how that's all frayed there? So that fray was just catching that seam. So here it is, we've got that section out. And there you go. So we've got this section here that was in where the cam section is. That's where the cam section is. It was from there. And then once you repair the batten, this section here that's got that drill, it's going to still be tight because this is a pretty strong webbing. So you might be right to do nothing about it, or if you're worried, just take it to a sailmaker. You can put just a little stitch there to close that gap up. But I think it might be right. It won't keep fraying because it's pretty solid. So there you go. Voila, we got the batten out. A bit of work for a Sunday afternoon. So now the next stage is we're going to try to join the batten together and see how that goes.